In addition to the tavern, Regina and her husband Doug own Charboneau Distillery, which is conveniently located just next door. It's where they make their handcrafted rum. Suddenly I'm feeling a little thirsty. Come on in.
In 1990, before children, my wife and I went to the islands and had good rum for the first time and decided that that was an interesting product, and we've tracked it and collected and enjoyed it over many, many years. Always joked about having a rum distillery someday. Didn't make any sense in the 90s. We returned to Natchez in 2000, and we're right in the middle of sugarcane country, and now it made sense. The process for making rum is it's all based on sugarcane. There's 2 or 3 different ways you can use that sugar. You can either crush the cane and use free-run juice, like you make wine from free-run grape juice, or you can use molasses, which 90% of the rum in the world is made from molasses, which is the product left over at the end of the sugar extraction process at the sugar mill. We chose a little different route in that we use molasses from the mill, but we also use some of the raw sugar from the mill in a secret combination that allows us to get some flavor from the sugar itself as opposed to just from the end product, the molasses, which has a little more bitterness.
So right now I'm adding roughly 50 pounds of molasses. And what's end up being a 5-gallon bucket's worth. Our molasses is super thick. It runs about 16 pounds per gallon, so it's twice as heavy as water. We used 120-degree water to dissolve our sugar.
Sugar and molasses do mix well with water. And then we add 10 ounces of yeast. So we ferment for about 48 hours, is what it takes at a 100-degree temperature. The yeast does what we want it to do, and at the end of that 48 hours, we've taken a 300-gallon vat of sugar water and converted it to a 6 or 7% alcohol solution. At that point, we have 20 to 21 to 25 gallons of alcohol somewhere in that 300-gallon tank, and then we have to find it. Once the liquid vaporizes and turns into steam, then the molecules will bounce off of the copper and they're extracting sulfur. Everyone has it, whether you're making whiskey, vodka, rum. You've got to get the sulfur out of the process and clean up the alcohol. So the copper does that for us. It's absolutely an accomplishment for someone who never took a chemistry class. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I can read about it, but I can't necessarily know exactly what the absolute backbone basis of it is. But we know how it works. When we did the first fermentation, we're wondering what it should and would taste like and look like, and we saw that. And we did the first distillation. We again found out what it looks like when it's happening, what it tastes like when it's coming off of the still, and then eventually what it tastes like when it goes into the bottle. We're now finding out what it tastes like when it's been in a barrel for a few months. Both my son and I, we know what we want in our bottle, and I think we hit it every time.